Hey gang, what's up? Hope everybody's having a good day and welcome back here to another edition of the Fishing Teacher. Actually, over here at the YMCA, got the boys swimming today. Thought it'd be a good chance to get the video out. And today I want to give some tips and advice on catching fish early in the morning. Low light conditions, you hear a lot about it in fishing, so I'm going to give you guys some good juice to sort of how you can take advantage of that here. So real quick guys, before we get started here, I just want to remind everybody about our Fish the Moment lake map breakdowns. You guys hear me talking about it a lot, but these are maps that I built for Fish the Moment that gives you 40 GPS waypoints on your favorite lakes, tips on how to fish it, just a good foundational resource. And also if the maps of the lake that you're looking for is not on our website, you can book a virtual lesson with me and we'll go over any lake in the country. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. So I'll put the link in the description of this video. Okay guys, let's talk a little bit about early morning fishing. Now, one of the things about fishing, specifically bass fishing, or not just bass fishing, but all fishing, you hear people say, you know, about you need to get out early in the morning, or fish bite good in the morning, or people just want to get up early and go fishing. There is an element of truth to that, but one of the things I found out about fishing over the years is I am not a big fan of getting up super early just to go fishing, like waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go fishing, because I don't think, I mean, based upon the techniques you're fishing, I don't think that fishing early in the morning is that much better than fishing any other time of the day. Although what we're going to talk about in this video is there are some techniques that will produce very well in early in the morning under low light conditions, so we're going to get into that. So first of all, I think there's a couple different things that you need to remember as far as how good or how not good that fishing early in the morning is going to be, and a lot of it is it's dependent upon your water temperature and water clarity. You're going to find that the colder the water or the dirtier the water, the less effective it is to fish early in the morning. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, the clearer the water is and the warmer the water is, the better it is. So those are two extremes. It's like if you can put like the quality of fishing from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 would be cold water, dirty water, 10 would be warm water, very clear water, and everything else is in between. So obviously what you have here is once you start to get to like number 5, where you start to have some water clarity that has decent water clarity. You know what I'm talking about decent? I'm talking about water clarity of over 2 feet. So if you've got water temperature over 2 feet and you've got water temperatures, say over 57, 58, close to 60 degrees, then that is when I would put that on a scale of 1 to 5 as 5 being neutral. That is when it starts to actually get better. So when you're trying to make the decision about, do I want to get up early to go fishing, take that into consideration. If the water clarity is less than 2 feet, then the water temperature is under 55 degrees, you know, there's nothing, you're not going to have any benefit about getting out there early, but as it gets on the other end, you will. So anyway, let's talk about techniques as far as the how to capitalize on that. And a lot of people think that when they think about early morning, they think about topwater fishing. Now, topwater fishing can be a good way to catch them, especially as that water temperature gets, you know, close to 70 degrees and you start to have water visibilities again over 2 foot. Yeah, topwaters can be highly effective, because what happens is, this is why bass fishing is good in the morning. In my opinion, I think a lot of fish feed at night, and when they feed at night, they're up cruising the banks at night, and early in the morning they're on their way out. So when you are out there early in the morning, the first couple hours after daylight, you're still going to have some fish up shallow. Even though they're on their way out, they start moving out as soon as that sun pops over the horizon. But once you start to get that, you know, that's when those fish are shallow, and that's why topwater lure works real good. For topwaters, again, water clarity is the key on there. If the water is closer to the 2 foot visibility range, I like a buzz bait, something like that. But if the water visibility is clear, like over 4 feet, I like say like a walking type topwater. And also a chugger, like an old popper, something like that. Hula popper even is good during all conditions for low light with that. But most of the success that I have had early in the morning, as far as the quality fish, a lot of it has come on a spinnerbait. Even if you have those variables I'm talking about are on either side of that. A spinnerbait is an excellent early morning lure, especially if you've got some wind. One of the most productive ways you're ever going to catch any fish is if you start out your morning, say the sun comes up at 6:30 in the morning, and you're out there, say at 6:45, 7 o'clock, and you're on a point that's still has some shade because of the low light angle, and you've got a little breeze coming across the water, maybe 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, and you can take a spinnerbait out there and run it just under the surface of the water. And I've caught a lot of really good bags, fishing a spinnerbait fairly fast, throwing it right up on the bank shallow like that's a good way to catch them. Most of the time what you're going to have is techniques are going to be, certain techniques are going to be better at certain times of the day. So obviously if you're fishing heavy cover, like you're pitching and flipping or something like that, you're not going to have any benefit to early in the morning because you need the shade for that technique to really work good. But overall, you're going to find out that your moving lures are better right off the bat early in the morning. Your spinnerbaits, your topwaters, your crankbaits, anything that you reel through the water column that generates a reaction strike is going to be a really good lure to fish right off the bat. So those are, if you told me, it's like, okay, Randy, we're going to go early morning bass fishing, the two lures I would have on would be a spinnerbait and a buzzbait. And like I said, there's a lot of different type of topwaters out there, and you just have to experiment. Here's an example of what I'll give you guys as far as how to choose that. A lot of the topwaters that you choose are dependent upon the areas you're fishing. Let's say, for example, you're on a lake that's got boat docks on it, and you've got riprap between those boat docks, and there's maybe only 50 foot, or say a 50 to 100 foot between docks. In a situation like that, I want to use a topwater that I can leave in one place for a long time. So that's when I throw like a chugger. I throw that bait out there, chug it, let it set a little bit, chug it, make another cast, maybe 5 foot away from there, and do the same thing. Because I'm not wanting to cover a lot of water, because I don't have a lot of water to cover. But if you're fishing like big main lake points or long stretches of bank that has shade on it, that's when you want something you can cover some water, like a buzzbait or a walking topwater or whopper plopper or something like that. So it's all relative to that setup there. But overall, like I said, I'm not a big fan of early morning fishing. It's usually cold, it's usually wet. There's been very few situations where I've really whacked them fishing early in the morning. Don't get me wrong, I've caught a ton of fish early in the morning over the years, but I just prefer getting out there about the middle of the day as far as that type of technique and fishing. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. I don't like to be freezing to death out there, but to each their own. There's a lot of people out there. I know a lot of people, guys, that they don't ever fish past about 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. They fish in the morning and then they're done for the day, but you guys can have that. I prefer the afternoon bite. So anyway, I hope it helps out, guys, shed some lights. We'll talk later. See you.